It's about time we talk about how Rudy Gobert is back to his absolute best defensively. Last season we didn't see peak Gobert, and at 33 years old, it was fair to suspect we would never see peak Gobert again, but he's in the top handful of defenders again this season, and he might even be the very best. I get it, we all want to forget about the big awkward dude who people have never really appreciated, but one of the best defenders of this generation is pretty close to taking back his throne this season. I think there's still this idea around Gobert that he's simply a shot blocker and nothing else. We know that shot blocking and rim protection has been the foundation of his game for his whole career, but I think that label overlooks the finer details of his defensive game and the things he does possession after possession, and he's been doing them at a finely tuned level all season long, and especially in the past month or so. First and foremost, the best thing about Gobert's defense isn't blocking shots or altering shots, it's deterring them completely. When Gobert's on the floor this season, opponents attempt field goals at the rim 12.7% less than when he's off the floor. That's a career high number by a huge distance and a 100th percentile number league-wide. And that's the main reason Minnesota's defense is 13.8 points per 100 possessions better when he's on the floor compared to when he's on the bench, which is another otherworldly number. Even now as he's aging, if his teammates get pinned by a screen and there's a driving lane at Gobert, attacking him is something very few ball handlers want to actually do. This more than anything else is Gobert's superpower defensively. How often do you see a rim pressure machine like De'Aaron Fox turn down this situation on the break and instead opt to circle around to the corner and shoot a semi-contested three? That's what's become known as a nevermind in Minnesota fandom, and it's Gobert's bread and butter. Guards like Fox succumb to it, a big wing like Jalen Williams here would usually drop Rob Dillingham off and finish at the rim, but with Gobert he bails out and OKC gets a worse look from three instead. That's the power of a nevermind, and it fuels a lot of what Minnesota do defensively. Even a bruising big with a soft touch like Zubats, who they're specifically running this down screen action to get a paint touch for, will see Gobert sitting here at the rim and turn down his trademark floater look and pass it off to his teammate to do the same thing. Shots at the rim are still the most efficient shot in the game, and having a player who can deter them consistently like Gobert is one of the biggest value adds a team can have defensively, and in Gobert's case, it's the roots of his defensive tree. What continues to make him special though, is that there's a bunch of branches that come off that tree as well. He can turn a defensive possession like this, where a small guard sees him and never minds his way out of there, into a possession where he is the one who makes a rim protection impact. Here he's turning that deterrence into him chasing off a switch and blocking a shot at the rim, but he's also able to pivot out of those never minds and be impactful in other ways. Against an elite driver like James Harden, he's still able to turn him away from the rim, allow Edwards to switch onto Harden and then get out, cover the open man, and contest the three ball. More than ever, it feels like Gobert is a one-man wrecking crew within Minnesota's defense this season. He's able to completely shut off drivers, he's the one communicating to his teammates to get the right matchups, and then he's the one contesting shots at the rim and winning those contests. Because even with the neverminds and the rim deterrence, teams are going to have to challenge Gobert eventually, and he's as good as he's ever been at making that a difficult task right now. There's nobody better in the league at preventing points at the rim than him this season, and players shoot an absurd 13.9% worse at the rim when he's the closest defender, and just 43.3% total when he's the closest defender, which is crazy considering how many shots against him come in the paint. And again, it's the details of those numbers that make them so impressive. In pick and roll, he's the master of playing 2. What I mean by that is how he sits in this perfect gap where he can stop the ball on the drive, but also peel back to the roll man, stay in position not to foul, and stop points at the rim. And it's amazing how often those rim stops propel Minnesota into fast and efficient offense at the other end. I think being able to not only get up to touch in pick and roll coverage like this, and still swivel out perfectly back to his man, and then get a ridiculous contest on the shot is super underrated. There's just very, very few players who are doing it as good or as consistently as Gobert is right now. Like, this is a walk-in bucket for SGA if Gobert isn't here in coverage, and if he doesn't rotate out of it into another sick contest, it's an auto bucket for Hartenstein on the roll. It's crazy how often he's filling the role of 2 defenders in pick and roll coverage, and how insanely good he is at doing it. It means that his teammates can stick to 3-point shooters rather than over-helping to help Gobert manage, which is a huge reason Minnesota is one of the best 3-point defenses in the league, and it just helps Minnesota's point of attack defenders chase these scorers around without getting burned more often. The ability to sit in that gap and play cat and mouse with the driver while still staying connected to his man means DiVincenzo here can get back in front of Westbrook and force the tough shot. Now, I think what Gobert's gotten better at over his time in Minnesota, and especially this season, is knowing when to break off on a late switch and be the one who takes responsibility on those drivers instead. I feel like in previous seasons he was sometimes hesitant to leave his man and commit on these possessions, but he's got the balance of doing it or not doing it down to a fine art right now. As soon as the point of attack defender gets picked off, he's willing to fully commit to the switch and smother smaller players with his size and his shockingly good side-to-side quickness. In pick and roll coverage, Gobert is kind of the perfect defender. He's able to defend the big on the roll, he's able to switch onto guards on the drive, and he's able to effectively position or help his teammates. And we know he's going to hold his own in one-on-one matchups as well. He's bigger than most guys who try to ISO him, he's longer than most guys who try to ISO him, and he's better at forcing tough shots than most guys are at making them. On the season, Gobert is allowing just 0.83 points per possession in isolation, another super elite number, and really that's just the cherry on top of one of the best defenders of this generation's best ever seasons. If you want to see more Gobert defense, and you want to see more breakdowns like this one, the best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel, drop a like or a comment to help Howls and Growls grow, and keep watching the videos all season long. Thanks again for watching, and happy holidays to all of you who do.